Hey guys, my name is Nate Scott, and in this video I'm going to be discussing one of the most important and probably one of the most difficult conversations that you'll have in your life, and that's coming out to your parents. Regardless of at what point you decide to tell your parents that you're gay during your coming out journey, I think it's one of the most important and difficult conversations that you'll ever have, because these are your parents. They're the ones who brought you into the world, and they love you more than anything, and by telling them that you're gay, you're risking their acceptance, and that's a really scary thing. So I hope that by keeping some of these tips in mind when you tell them, that it helps the conversation to go as easy and positive as possible. Okay guys, so tip number one is that when you finally decide to come out to your parents, if you can, do it in person. Because coming out to them is going to be such an intimate, personal conversation, you really want to try to do it face to face rather than over the phone or through text message, because doing it face to face is going to help you to better talk to them and react to however they decide to respond. I realize that depending on where you are in life, if you're away at college or you work in a different state, or you're just not going to be able to see your parents face to face for a while, then doing it over phone is going to be the best option. So if you can't do it face to face, then definitely give your parents a phone call, and do it when you have enough time to have a conversation with them, because they're probably going to have a lot of questions for you. So when I decided to come out to my parents, I was 22 and I was in college and living in a different state than they were, so I had to do it over the phone. And I decided to do it over text message because I was really afraid. And looking back, I really wish that I would have called them or waited until I was there face to face, so that I could have had a more genuine conversation with them, and I would have been able to react and respond to them right away, rather than, not being able to see their faces or react to their voices. It was more of just a waiting game until they texted me back. So if you can, wait for that conversation until you're with your mom and dad one-on-one, and you can come out to them and be with them personally for that. On that same note, guys, tip number two is make sure that when you do it that you allow for enough time for there to actually be a conversation. The last thing that you want to do is come out to your parents during a time where they're really busy or you're really busy, and you're not going to have enough time to actually talk through some of the questions that they might have for you. So for example, if your mom is dropping you off at school and you decide to come out to her 5 minutes before you get to school, that's probably not going to be the greatest time to have that conversation, because she's probably going to have a lot of questions for you and she's going to want to talk. And if you only have 5 minutes before you're going to be leaving her, then it's not the right time. So when you do decide to have that conversation, make sure that it's during a time and at a place where you're both comfortable and relaxed and have time to actually have a conversation with each other. I always think that during difficult conversations like this, it's best to go for a walk and have it, or go to a coffee shop and have that conversation over a drink, or just in your own home when you're both relaxed and you don't have to be anywhere anytime soon, and neither do they, and you can actually have a conversation. It's going to make the whole talk go so much better than if it's rushed. And the third tip, guys, is that regardless of how they respond to you coming out with them, be proud of the fact that you did it. You should be extremely proud of yourself, because like I said earlier, coming out to your parents is going to be one of the most difficult and important things that you'll ever do, and you should be proud that you've reached that milestone in your journey where you're comfortable enough to tell them about how you feel. And after that, your life is going to feel so much better, because it's a huge weight lifted off of your shoulders, and there will no longer be this wall in between you and your parents. Once that wall has been lifted, then you can start building a truly genuine relationship with them where you're comfortable being yourself. For some people, the conversation with their parents goes really well and their parents don't have any issues with them being gay and it's not a problem. But for others, it can come as a total shock and their parents aren't necessarily accepting of it, and it can be weeks, months, or even years of difficulty with their relationship. But no matter what, know that by telling them you're being true to yourself and you're allowing them to see who you are, and by doing that, you're doing the right thing. So regardless of how they decide to respond, be proud and know that it was the right thing to do, and with time they'll turn a corner because deep down they love you more than anything else in the entire world. And my last tip, guys, is that when you know that you're ready to come out to your parents, don't put it off. Do it, have that conversation, get it over with, because once you do, it will be the biggest weight off your shoulders and you'll be able to move on and not have to worry about having that stress on yourself anymore, and it'll truly feel like the start of the next chapter of your life. Guys, this is a really special topic for me because after I came out to my parents, it literally felt like a new start to my life where I no longer had to be hiding. And since I came out to them 5 years ago, our relationship has gotten so much better. And now looking back, we have the best relationship that we've ever had. And I just hope that by coming out to your parents that you guys can have the same experience that I did. So I really hope that these tips help you out when you decide to have that difficult conversation, and that it goes as smoothly as possible. And before you know it, it'll be over with and you'll be moving on with your life. And if you guys have any tips, additional tips that I didn't cover about having that conversation with your parents, feel free to post them in the comments. If you found the video useful, like it and share your experiences below.